the damage of certain things with technology until maybe 10, 20 years from now. In this, so what would be a right word to say? Maybe,
technological age.
No, maybe I was going to say maybe self-centered.
Yeah,
self-centered way.
Love that.
You know, self-centered life that we live a bit more now. So I think that with even at home with parents, you know, I don't see what everyone does at home, but I can be sure that parents maybe are more focused on their phones than they are their children. So at times, you know, and I think, you know, over time, if that continues, and you know, if they won't be able to tell maybe at times when children need certain conversations and how they're feeling and certain things. So that maybe come out in school, in the school environment, and you know, you got no hope if, you know, a teacher can't read that energy, or you know, or can't pull them to the side and, you know, and try and get to the bottom of why they're acting how they are. You know, and I just think that it's got to change in that sense, in terms of the support that children are receiving, not only at home but at school. And I think that, you know, what I see a lot more now is schools and parents don't get along.
Yeah.
And you know,
why is that?
I'm not going to say across the board. I'm not going to say, you know, but that just seems, certain conversations that I've had with, you know, family members that have worked in schools and friends that have worked in schools seem to say the parents don't seem to get along with the teachers and things, you know, and don't always agree. There's a bit of a friction when it comes to that relationship. And I can only think that, you know, your love for your child, you know, you may always, you know, you can't really be told, you know, you need to be humble to you know, have maybe a teacher speak to you, you know, about your child and maybe tell you certain things.
Don't tell me about my child.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm sure loads of parents say that.
Exactly. And I'm sure that, you know, some children, you know, they might be great at home. And then when they get to school, they act a different way. And maybe their parents might not ever see that side. You know, and
that's good. And I agree with you fully in terms of the lack of relationship between parents and the school. And that's one of the things that we do well at Mentivity, is we are in the middle ground. We try to triangulate the information sharing, because that's the key thing. There's a breakdown in communication between the school and the parents and the young person, not keeping them in the loop. So we try to be central to that whole process and try to navigate that difficult kind of relationship building with the parents, and kind of do that work with the parents to say, look, this is what you're doing wrong, and like, no disrespect, but we're just honest, and you're not helping your child. But then also the school, like, you're not helping this child, or you're not helping the parent to understand what's going on. So it's the key thing is that information is not shared, because there's so much pressure. Just like what you said, young people are not being supported, but teachers are not being supported. Because you said they're being overworked, right? So they can't do the things that they want to do and take the time to actually invest that in young people. So then that young person falls by the wayside because of the constraints of the job. So it's mad. I've seen it so many times, and people that are so passionate in the beginning, and they're just like, nah, I'm done. Like you said, after 3-4 years, like, nah, I'm just here to get my money. You know what I mean? And people are so self-centered, because we live in a capitalist country. It's all about yourself, about what you can. So it's no, and that's, you know, linking that to community. There's no community. Like, I would tell people, there is no community. Like, there's not a community whereby people are safe. We don't have a community because young people are not safe and women are not safe. So we don't have a community. Until they're safe, then we can say we have a society that is safe for people to flourish.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? It's all a vicious cycle anyway, because one of the things that I strongly believe is like, the school is the hub of the community. Like, I'm sure I've said that at least once or twice on this podcast. The school is the hub of the community. And you have to think, the same schools that we're talking about, if we're saying that they're operating in a broken system, a lot of these parents have been through that school system and have no faith in it. So what they do is to project, you know, their negative experiences, their emotions, like I see on a day-to-day basis. You know, the way parents engage with school teachers or school leaders is purely based on the way someone made them feel 15, 16 years ago. So it's like, what's your problem? What's your problem with me? I ain't done nothing to you. But you kind of really have to step back, and you have to look at it holistically and say, well, actually, if education has failed so many people within this particular community already, when they're bringing their children to that same school within the same community, even if it's a different teacher, this is a 21-year-old fresh baby-faced teacher, has nothing to do with what you went through.
Yeah.
They just look at you as one system that's failed.
That's it.
That's all they're looking at.
Yeah.
And so the schools have to really make like a real effort. You know, there's a buzzword within education called parental engagement, like, but that has to be at the heart of like all that you do, as well as pupil voice, because they're all stakeholders.
Yeah.
The parent is a stakeholder, the child is a stakeholder, the governors are community leaders, everybody is. So if you don't make parents feel included, involved, you don't listen to them, you don't pay attention to them, you don't show them respect at the gates, those little things, they're not going to buy into anything that you do. They're going to be the ones where you say to them, could you wear a mask? And they're lying to you, saying, I ain't wearing no mask. Or like, like, it's just the little interactions you have with them.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a vicious cycle.